So yeah, day 1 of week 7. Let's tilt that back a bit. And good morning. Welcome again to Urban Agoge, the show that aims to turn you into the Punisher rather than Batman. You're never going to have that kind of money. But essentially, we're doing it. So the runs, although, you know, I'm still finding there's a little bit of resistance, as in the war on art, the resistance that stops you getting up and doing stuff. A little bit of resistance this morning. Fell asleep, didn't get back to sleep again because I woke up at like 5:30. Should have got up. You know, if you wake up that early, I mean, my planned wake up time was 7. I woke up at 5:30. It wouldn't have been awesome if I could have got out and done my run then. Instead, I didn't get out till 9:30. And as it takes me about 20 minutes to walk to where I want to run, that sort of delayed me by a few hours. Could have got it all done because there's a gym section today. Mondays seem to be the hardest, which seems a little bit of a pain considering that Sundays were also a workout day. If you recall, yesterday I managed to fail doing the 1.5 mile run, and today I managed it in about, give or take, I got 1.66 miles in about 18:20, which is not good. It's not very far at all, but I didn't know how long I could run for without desperately needing to stop. Turns out I could have gone a lot harder, so that's my lesson to myself. I definitely want to do another attempt at the 1.5 mile timed run tomorrow, and I think I've got a track or a route that will allow me to run on asphalt and you know, basically running on streets that are flat without stones and stuff like that, because rough ground like we've got here, as you can see from the running videos, it's just a path, you know, lots of stuff in the way, plants to avoid, people to get around, stuff like that. So yeah, so that's that done. Got a load of gym stuff in the whatchamacallit, in the next video, in part 2, and definitely I definitely want a woodland ramble run tomorrow. It doesn't feel like I've been out into the woods in a while. So yeah, and maybe my new camera will have turned up by then. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? And get some image stabilization going on. So as of this morning, we're at about 550 views, about getting towards 5,000 minutes of watch time, up to 20 subscribers. So hello to all new subscribers. So Doug and Zoo Echoes and the other guy that subscribed this morning. So it's nice to see. Tell your friends if you are a couch potato, or you know a couch potato, as I was 6 weeks ago, and I really was. And now I'm running, you know, every other day essentially, and I didn't even get a stitch today, so that's good. An update on the lucid dreaming thing. When I fell asleep, I was aware that I had dreamed. I can't quite remember what it was about, so I definitely want a dream diary. I've slipped up on the journaling, so I need to write out another journal page and get some wins written down, because that was really working for me. It's just that the last week or so, there have been a lot of very late nights at work, so I've been getting in at about midnight, and especially when you're getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning, or you're trying to get up early in the morning and get a productive day in, that would just wipe you out. So maybe there should be a space for like another video on like a routine that's working for me. And if you've got a routine that's working for you and you manage to maintain that despite all the distractions of modern life, I'd really like to hear about it. So yeah, routines are good. So I definitely need to put a dream journal by my bed and start writing down everything that I can remember about the dream, and that's definitely one of the steps towards being able to lucid dream, which would be awesome. It's like a superpower, especially if in your dreams you can have superpowers. So like 7 or 8 nights a week you can be a superhero in your own reality. The journaling thing needs to come back online. As far as diet goes, haven't eaten any meat in the last 2 or 3 days, and I feel much better. I had a tiny bit of chicken a couple of days ago, but apart from that, I'm swearing off the meat. Yeah, it's a big old hassle when you eat meat, too much red meat, well, too much processed meat. I'm guessing a George Foreman grilled, all the fat drained off it, chicken breast would probably be good. And maybe I am going to start needing protein. But I haven't even had any fish in a couple of days and I feel a lot better. But that's probably more down to modern food being full of preservatives and gunk and sugar and fat and extra this and extra that to make our stupid Neanderthal brains overreact and stuff ourselves. I've definitely been doing more portion control, which probably explains why I've started losing weight again. So that's a good thing. Yeah. Oh. And I'm just feeling exhilarated. I don't have a stitch or anything like that. But it was a slow measured jog. So now I know that I can do a slow measured jog for 18 minutes. And your body eventually gets used to it. You sort of tell it, to quote Eddie Izzard, this is what we're doing now. And let's not forget, Eddie Izzard went from not being all that fit to 6 weeks of marathon training to doing like 48 marathons, one a day, which is insanity. But I'll never look at Eddie Izzard the same way again. So yeah, still not entirely sorted for the thing. Oh, we're just going to stop for a minute. Yeah. So where were we? Dream journal. That's got to happen. Got plenty of notebooks in my house. I'm a bit of a hoarder. This is the time when being a bit of a hoarder is really coming in handy. If you'd asked me whether I was ever going to wear my running shoes again, I'd have probably said no. If you asked me whether I was going to wear the tracksuit that I use, which has been very handy because I didn't have to buy anything, I'd have said no. But if you look at the pile of notebooks I've got in my house and the zillions of pens, because I can't walk past a drop pen without picking it up, I'd have said no. But suddenly all these things, all these bit part projects are coming in and online. So yeah, I think I'm making real progress. But it's all about like muscle memory and having done it and achieving some level of success every single day. And it's really coming on, I'm really noticing a lot of people are starting to look a bit more interested. Isn't that always the way? It would have been great to have someone live nearby that wanted to go running and wanted to build up some muscle strength. But it's the whole thing. People don't believe you until you've done it. People don't believe you until you've achieved something with your plan, despite the fact your plan is workable. And I'm just really appreciative that there is an audience, that there are subscribers, there are people that watch it, watch me on a daily basis and do catch-ups and stuff like that. And it really is just overcoming that resistance. And I would definitely say it's a short book. See if you can find an audiobook on YouTube of The War on Art, and that tells you all about resistance. It's a very good book. And also things like You Are a Badass, although that's more spiritual. That's more meditate and believe that all the good in the universe will come to you. Maybe that's as you know, on this channel I like to eviscerate the woo-woo I don't like it when people sort of say if you've got to get into a certain spiritual place, which is the big part of most self-help books. But it's, yeah, you need to pick a day and say, today I will wake up early. When I wake up, I will make my bed. When I've made my bed, I will drink a glass of water. I will go downstairs. I will think about doing some stretching or some exercise every single morning. You know, this lying shit is a byproduct of the way we work as a society in the Western world. You get up, you have a tiny amount of time to yourself to do what you want to do. You get dressed, you eat breakfast, you go to work typically, and then you come home exhausted, at least mentally exhausted, at say 6-7 o'clock. Then you eat a super heavy meal. There's no way you're going to get any exercise in, and then you watch television until you fall asleep. And then for some reason, given that you haven't done much in the way of heavy lifting all week, at the weekend you just boil away all that time by not getting out of bed, or when you do get out of bed, going shopping for stuff that you don't need. And then people wonder why depression is an issue in the Western world. I mean, quite frankly, with all the abilities and all the power that we've got at our disposal, all the technology that we could use for doing really interesting, creative stuff, there's no excuse. And Jocko Willink does talk about, you know, total ownership. Own your life. You know, own it. It's yours. You know, so what if you're going to go to bed at like 9-10 o'clock at night because you got up at 4:30 in the morning so you could have some creative time. You could actually strategize on where your life was going, face up to some of the difficult stuff that may be in your future, prepare for it. You know, Sweden's actually encouraging its citizens to become preppers. You know, it's actually encouraging people to prepare for, you know, times when life isn't going to be so good. And that's really interesting. How long before our government says, oh, you should aim to have a couple of weeks of food on hand, about a week's worth of water. So yeah, how helpful are you going to be if the shit hits the fan? How competent are you? Take ownership of that. You know, imagine it's just you. Imagine that, you know, we've got all sorts of things that we've got to deal with. So yeah, so I think that certain things in the Agoge, once the army regimen has dropped off in a couple of months, and maybe even sooner than that, once the better camera rig is installed and set up, I'll do a few videos on that, and then we'll start kitting out the adventure bag a bit more. So I've had a few fails with this particular bag, but I've redone the straps so they really can't come undone, and before I go for a run I check the straps. I still like this format of bag because it's small enough that I don't mind running with it, and that's a good size of bag. And all the adventure bag has to give you is an edge. Just has to give you an edge. So maybe we can pack like a micro bug out bag, because, you know, certain things in your bug out bag are going to be non-street legal. Certain things in that bag are going to be very, very handy, but you're not going to want to be carrying them while you're going jogging. So maybe one of the things I'll do this month is get hold of another one, because I like this bag format. It's small, it's light, you can put it in other bags. So get another one in a completely different colour that is the "it's all gone terribly wrong, time to go" bag, that you can leave packed by your door. You know, you can have a full-size bug out bag if you want, but that depends on whether you need to run. You know, these bags are small enough that you can fit them to the outside of or on top of a lot of Bergens. So you just strap this thing down. So yeah, be prepared. I mean, how many people are you going to be responsible for? How reliable are those people that you are responsible for? You can't just take off and leave your family behind because they haven't been training. So what's your, you know, what's your plan? Have one, at least a really basic one. Explain your plan to the people you share a house with. Anyway, so yeah, this is all about improving on yourself and improving on the you of yesterday. And I think, almost without doubt, every single day for the last 6 weeks, I have been more educated, better prepared, fitter, more focused on being a more optimized human being. And that's all we're doing. I mean, it doesn't really matter, apart from my own sense of ego and pride, whether I ever manage to run a 1.5 miles in 14 minutes or less. I'd like to be able to, but I'm 48. When I run, I'm carrying a backpack. I'm running on uneven ground. I smoke heavily at the moment. That I'm getting out is a minor miracle. So that I'm getting out and I'm improving, that's fantastic. And that's all you've got to do. You only got to improve on yesterday, or improve on last week. Your body will eventually figure its shit out and get used to the fact that you go running a lot, and to prepare accordingly. You're just teaching it what your current regimen is. And yes, probably in the next few months, I will be considering getting a weight bench and lifting some weights and stuff like that. But I don't want to get so weight heavy that I can't run. I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I want to be an optimized person. So that's where I'm going to leave my rant today. As always, thanks for watching. Please watch the video to the end, even if you go off and make a cup of coffee and do something completely different. If you like and subscribe, or leave a comment, if there's anything I can answer, if there's anything you want to know, I'm happy to give it. So thanks for watching, and do take care.